G'day YouTube, warbles on a lot here. If you under can stumble, the green with the pink ring of the burns, that was the first burn, 70 square metres triangle. Second burn was 30 square metres, so I got up to 100 square metres. Third burn was when I brought the camera out and I did 120 square metres, so that takes us to 220. Fourth burn, get a camera view on that. Fourth burn was 240 square metres, so we're up to 460. And last night I did a bit of a big one, 680 square metres. So I've now blacked out 1,140 square metres in 5 burns. I went out for my morning pee at up R6 in my Ugg boots. And I wound up having to sort of grab a 10 litre water can and hot-footed up here because I had a smoker. Even though I put the fire to bed, or so I thought. It's 6:30 and I patrolled it till 10 o'clock and I thought it was all under control. So now the previous night I had sort of burnt down along here out. So this along here was already blacked out, and for that I used this burnt off centre between the two wheel tracks, which I had you along for the night I had the camera out here. And I'd done that, and I did this along here with you guys with the camera, because that's burns 1 and 2. This was burn 3. So then, with that as a backstop and this as a backstop, burn 4 was up around here. And it was, you know, pretty much exclusively grass. And I don't know whether you can sort of see that along there. That's the line along there where burn 4 kicked off and went in. And you know, as you saw, if you've got long grass over here, and you want the fire to go that way, if you can secure the far perimeter, and then you've got a very slight breeze going that way and it's uphill, it's not too big of a trick to light the fire and then stand back and wait for 1 metre to establish itself and then put out the near side edge with the leaf blower. So that's how that can be done, and if possible, yeah, light off a wallaby track or something. Right, so that was part of number 4, and then I run down along there also as part of number 4. So that up there plus that, and that means that all of this stuff along here, that was last night. That's burn number 5. That's a 680 square metres, and this here is smoker that was giving me the hard time, and this was the real particular bad bit. Big chunk of bark, and the fire come up along here under the dead tree, and we wound up getting back to actual hardwood there that was on fire. And yeah, initially you just use a stick and pull the bark off and knock it onto the ground and tread it out, and then you come back with water. And water cures a lot of problems. So we're coming on for 11:15. I'm just going around making sure I haven't got any more secret bloody hidden smokers, because I don't think I'm going to burn this afternoon. It's Friday. Friday's sort of shower and go to town day, socialise in town a bit sort of thing. Oh, I just saw a little lizard getting around there, so at least I haven't killed everything that moves on the forest floor. There we go. There we go. Right, so if a little penny lizard like that is running around unburnt, still alive, then that is, I guess, a mark of a cool, well-controlled fire that didn't actually hurt the wildlife. Even the little things managed to avoid it. And that technique I described with a leaf blower of following the nearest wallaby track, you can see where there's treaded down green vegetation with the tall dry stuff either side of it. That still works. What you've got to be sort of worried about is stuff like that where you've got an old dead dry tree root going down into the ground and there is no mineral earth. This is all organic material. It's broken down leaves and stuff. So once that starts smouldering, yeah, you have to dig it out, cool it down, pull the hot rocks out, expose it to the air, and, you know, as the worst case scenario, add water. So here's another place where some two-legged primate's been digging around in the hot dirt with a stick. And as I said, you're supposed to go around and actually prepare the base of any of the trees that you really don't want to burn, and I'm going to have to go and do that before I go out there and light this sort of stuff up next time, which I hope will be Saturday night. And my aim was to finish over there at the wheelbarrow, and I had all of that lit up and on fire and advancing that way up the hill with tiny weeny little bit of breeze coming along here, and, you know, like trying to decide, well, I didn't want to go down there because I would then have to control for that dead wattle tree, which I haven't prepared. You know, I haven't gone in there and scratched it away from its base, and I don't want it to light up and catch fire and then fall over and set a new bloody fire. So that meant come along here. What you see here on the ground, these holes dug, that's me lighting the fire and just giving it a little bit and then full power and blow all of the fuel and all of the burnies back out there into the fire. So you get a fairly well controlled edge. Well, I think it's well controlled. I don't know what other people are thinking. And then you realise, oh, bugger poo bum, I should have gone straight across there, that wallaby trail. This means I've either got to light all of that up and somehow protect the rubbish pit, or I've got to come across here, and all this stuff here was at least as thick as that. So I had much interesting times coming along here and stopping things like that, which were, you know, towering and raging and roaring, and stop it from catching this on fire. And you can see I've had a bit of a bloody rearguard retreat here where it keeps coming back at me. So, a little red spider might even be a tick. I don't know. But it's life of proof. in the firing of the ground. It shows that just because you burn, you don't actually hurt anything, and you make it a whole lot better. So yeah, if you've got a prospect of hot weather coming with strong wind and low humidity, that's an absolute friggin' nightmare. Burning it now, yes, it's scary, but this should all come back either green or with a very much reduced fuel burden. So I'm pleased to see that there are no more smokers. And yeah, see this hole where the root ball come out of, that's where all the bloody leaf litter and dry grass seeds and we have a Bunnius rabitus of the burrowing. That's all in there. If you light that, it'll burn for bloody days, and then if you get a strong wind, because it's nothing but leaf litter and shit, it'll come up and go off and light somebody else's place up. You can't risk that. So, but yeah, 680 square metres in one go. And I didn't even burn the abandoned wheelbarrow with the flat tyre. So that's, you know, bordering on being my good deed for the day yesterday, was pull off a burn and not make a mess of it. Another one of the reasons I'm going to have a rest is 4 burns in 4 days, and yeah, playing weightlifting with 4 litres of kerosene in an aluminium drip torch, I could do with a break from that for 1 day at least. Instead of that, I'm going to go and eat and have a shower. And yeah, just visualise the difference in a firefighter's mind. And this stuff around here, it's not too bad because it's all been brush cut. I think I might have done 47 bloody hours brush cutting since I got back from the hospital too. It's all interesting. And of course, there's that bloody thicket, which I'm going to have to do something to it. It's a never-ending interesting story if you're living in the forest. In my estimation, anyway. And if you haven't got a basement and your kid wants to come home and live on the ancestral campsite, well, that's what they do, in a tent. Warbles, not a lot to YouTube. Ciao.